Welcome to Live, Love, Engage, the podcast where we share practical advice from a spiritual perspective on how to create a life and business with more impact, influence, and income. I am your host, Gloria Grace Rand, the insightful copywriter and founder of the L.O.V.E. Method. My mission is to help you stop doubting yourself so you can live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically. Namaste and welcome. Welcome again to another edition of Live, Love, Engage. We are coming to you live today. For those of you watching the live stream on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. And I want to welcome you to this podcast today. And also I want to welcome all of those of you who are listening to this rebroadcast on your favorite podcast platform. I am so glad you're here today. And for those of you who may have been watching me for a while, you may notice that the location is a little different. And I'm going to be talking about that today because it ties in with my topic, which is the power of journaling to achieve your goals. And I don't know how many of you out there journal on a regular basis. And if one of you is listening and says, I'm not quite exactly sure what that is, well, it's essentially journaling is just really writing down what you're thinking about, what you're feeling, and getting it out onto paper. You can journal on a computer, and I have done that from time to time, but I do think there's really something special about actually getting a pen and pad of paper or a notebook. I use these little composition books, that you get at the drugstore for, especially around school time, that kids use in school, and use that to get my thoughts out. And I wanted to talk about, number one, it's an interesting fact that in doing some research for this podcast today, and I see someone who's watching on Facebook says they journal. Yay, Joanne. But I thought this was interesting that there's actual health benefits to journaling. University of Texas at Austin psychologist and researcher James Pennebaker contends that regular journaling strengthens immune cells. Now that's pretty cool. If you want to stay healthy, then journal. And also this article that I saw went on to say, if you struggle with stress, depression, or anxiety, keeping a journal can help you gain control of your emotions and improve your mental health and memory. There it is again. So we're strengthening immune cells. We're helping our mental health, which is certainly important, and strengthening our memory too. I love that. And I think it's a good practice. I absolutely, when I work with clients, I absolutely encourage them to keep a journal. It's so helpful for getting stuff out, especially when you sometimes get into frustration mode. Let's say something is really bothering you and you're really upset about it. I have found, at least in my case, that if I can sit down and journal about it and get all those feelings out on the page and, even curse words and everything, it calms me down and I am able to relax and then deal with the situation from a more calm point of view. And perhaps I can even, if I'm in a disagreement with someone now, I can actually relax and be able to see things from that other person's point of view. So it's super helpful in that respect. And, it's interesting. How I started my journal practice really goes back to, I guess I was probably 7 years old when I first had my diary. I'm sure possibly, many of you out there, especially girls, I think in particular, we have diaries when we're kids. And, and I didn't write in it every single day. I would write in it for a little while and then I'd kind of forget about it. And then maybe the next year, I'd pull it out again. And I kept doing this sort of hit and miss thing all the way through high school because I still have it. I was gonna dig it out and show it to you, but it's got a big smiley face on it. It's from the 70s. Okay, it's a long time ago, late 60s, whatever. Anyway, it's it's interesting to go back in and read some of the things that I talked about, because some of it was, just silly stuff about what was going on in school. Some of it was about complaining about my parents, you know, im my first kiss I wrote about. So, it's really cool to be able to do that and to have that type of practice. And I didn't get into doing more serious journaling really until I heard about the practice of morning pages. So, if any of you are familiar with the book The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, she talks about doing this first thing in the morning and just writing like 3 pages. And even if you don't have an idea of what to write about, just to get in the habit of writing. It could be shopping list, or you could just say, I don't know what I'm going to write about today. And that's what you're actually writing. I don't know what I'm going to write about. I have no idea. I don't know, but I know that this is a good practice and I'm just going to keep writing and then all of a sudden, ideas will come to you. And they can be really good ideas for your business. They can be something, again, maybe you need some help in your personal life. But just that practice of journaling every morning and really forcing yourself to do 3 pages is amazing what comes out of it. And in fact, I've had poems or song lyrics and things come to me while I've been writing. It's been amazing. And I want to now talk about a little bit about why I think it's really a powerful way to be able to achieve your goals. And and as I said, it has all of these great benefits, but I absolutely believe that journaling in a particular way, or as I should say, in a certain way, as the Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles talks about, when you journal that way, you can create wondrous things in your life. So I learned about this. I'm going to give credit where credit is due from Tasha Chen. In fact, if you look back on previous episodes of the podcast, she was a guest. I had her on a couple of months ago, and you can find the interview that I did with her. She teaches people how to use the science of getting rich in your life and to be able to help you to grow your business, to grow your personal life, all of that. And so I studied with her, I guess 2 years ago, I did. And one of the things that she talks about is to journal and using journaling as a way to visualize on paper, essentially, what you want to occur in your life. And you do this always starting out from a place of gratitude as well, so that you can say, I'm so happy and grateful that such and such has happened, or, this has happened. And it's always from the place of it's already happened in the past. So let me share an example, a concrete example with you of how this most recently facilitated itself beautifully, manifested, I guess is the better word I should say, in my life. So, to I mentioned earlier, I'm in a new location. So I have moved. My husband and I have separated for the time being. So um, we're still friendly and everything. I just felt that I needed some time away to be able to concentrate on my business. So I have moved into an apartment. And in the time leading up to this move that I knew was going to take place, what I did was journal how the move was going to take place. I would say, I knew that my moving date was going to be March 24th. And so I would say, oh, it is April 2nd, 2022, and I am so happy and grateful that this move happened in such an easy, relaxed manner. Something like to those effects. So that's what I was doing probably a couple months ago. In the immediate week before the move, I got a little bit more specific, and I'll tell you the reason why. I knew the date we had set with it because I was having 2 men in a truck. I'll give you guys a plug. Come and move my stuff from our house into this apartment. And the weather forecast for this particular Thursday was 90% rain. Not just 10%. No, it's 90% rain. And essentially torrential rain, well, serious rain in the afternoon, which is when the window for my move was going to be. So, can't exactly control the weather, can we? But I can do, well, actually I'm going to change my mind about that. Perhaps we can influence the weather, because what I started doing was I started journaling that I am so happy and grateful that my move was accomplished in dry weather and that the movers were able to pack up all my stuff, get it onto the truck, and then unload it at the apartment in dry weather. So that's what I was journaling about in the days leading up to this. And wouldn't you know it, now the day of the move arrived and I got a call from the movers first thing in the morning, and they were offering me an opportunity to actually move, have the truck there at 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, I wasn't able to do that because I couldn't get into the apartment until the afternoon. So I thanked them very nicely for that. And I said, well, that would be great, but we're still going to have to keep this 1:30 to 3:30 window. But if there's any way we can do it on the early side of that, because I know it was going to be definitely raining around 3 o'clock or so. And she said, we'll do our best and we'll see if we can do that. Time goes by about 12. No, I think it was about 12 o'clock. Yeah. Or 11:45. I get another phone call from 2 men in a truck. And this lovely woman says, I can have the truck there at 12, about 45 minutes from now. I said, perfect. I will be ready. Now, in the meantime, I had been able to get things into my car. My husband actually packed things in his car for me as well. It didn't rain while we were doing this, or maybe just sprinkled a little bit. The truck shows up at 12:40. The sun is even partially out a little bit. We get everything on the truck. On the drive to my apartment, torrential rain, but all the furniture is inside the truck. Get to the apartment, rain stops. Everything is unloaded. Put everything in the apartment. They get back in the truck, close the truck, rain. This is why I say this stuff works. Is that journaling and really here's the key point here. The key point is that I one of the things I always talk about, that I talk about in my book, is about letting go and letting God. So I let go of any attachment to the outcome. I just trusted that the universe would take care of me. My lovely husband, he's a sweetie pie, but he was like, oh, it's going to rain. It's going to rain. And I'm like, no, everything always works out for me. As Abraham Hicks says, everything always works out for me. And I was sure that this move was going to be accomplished in the way that I had intended and I had visualized. And darned if it didn't. So, I'm going to share with you now. I want to share with you, I think that'll go along nicely with you, as I usually do when I do my solo episodes today, a daily word from Unity, which I think falls right into this today. It's their word for the day. This is actually from 2012, so it's a long time ago. But the word was vision. And the affirmation is, I seize the bold vision to manifest the life of my dreams. And it says, to visualize the life I desire, I may create a vision board to capture my intentions in words and pictures. I've done that, by the way. Or I might write in a journal about my aspirations, outlining in detail all that is possible. Now, doubts may creep in, causing me to question the validity of my ambitions. And if so, I look beyond any perceived limitations. If I'm concerned about my age, resources, or timing, I courageously affirm my dreams are God inspired. I seize the bold vision to manifest the life of my dreams. And it goes on to say, I am bolstered by this affirmation as I align with the vibration of a higher vision. I open to unseen possibilities and joyously witness the unfoldment of my dreams. And then they always have a scripture reading too, and this is from Habakkuk 2:2-3, whatever. Anyway, it says, while the vision, make it plain on tablets, for there is still a vision for the appointed time. So even in the Bible, it talks about journaling. I love that, don't you? So that is my encouragement for you today. If you have not started a journaling practice, to consider doing so, because it really will help you. And definitely consider journaling what you want, to not only use it as a way to be able to vent, because it's definitely a good way to do that. It's useful for that. But use it as a way to manifest the life of your dreams, because you deserve it. And if you would like any support with that, if you have any questions, you want to talk to me about this in more detail, I would love to do that. Happy to have a conversation with you about journaling. Go to engagewithgloria.com, and I'll actually put this up here on the banner. For those of you watching the live stream, go to engagewithgloria.com. That'll take you right to my calendar where you can set up an appointment and let's chat about it. Love to have a conversation with you about that. And now the last thing I'm going to share with you today, as I have been doing as well, is to share a light language message with you. And for those of you who are not familiar with light language, its purpose is to really shift our energy to a higher frequency than we usually inhabit, and it helps our brains enter the receptivity of the gamma state, which also connects multiple areas of the brain as well. So all of you who are, you like the science aspect of this, that's what it's really good for. And gamma waves are actually associated with increased memory recall, sensory perception, focus, processing speed, and creativity. And then at the soul level, light language can help us to heal emotionally and physically. And it helps you to connect to your inner wisdom, activate dormant gifts and truths, and connect to your purpose. So for today, what I would like to do, I know in the past I've set a specific intention, but I'm just going to set the intention that the message I'm going to ask my angels to come through and to share with you today is going to be something that will be for your soul's highest good today, that the message you receive will be useful to you in some way that I don't know, but your soul knows best, and that's what's important. Now, again, if you're listening to this on the broadcast, if you're listening to it in your car, pause, come back later when you can be sitting down someplace and where you can just close your eyes and be open to receive what comes through for you today. So, Sonia kuliam no kiate sokua akonya te kale koyo tushia konyo no ke kasino akonyo ne kosia sono ya kalya no ko asokonyo no kya henyo no kriya boshi kalya take Okoshokorio no kokapa sintana, hekorio tokoya mashikoria tokoria pata, esakonanuko na, he korio no kokshi konyu no kabaya no kikaya, hekorio no kota no korepata hasika, he sanono kuna ke ka no ni no no kare na ke ka e sa kali no ko kabali anda kishika no e kali ata tokuri manda ninka e kali no kuri manda chika e ko shokoni no ki ka ya to tokuri manda saka e no ko ke no ko shan no ki ka para e ko no ko ya ta ka he sa kali no ko e ko kam nan ti kali to ko shakali mata e sa kali no ko da kan shika ni na ke e sa kali to kuri mata ha shika e ka to ho ni no ki ka he shakali ba he shakali to kuri mata shikari kalio kali 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 kala he kala ka ki kali na ki ka ya ha ha shiko hom he kali to shikari mata ho kari anda ke hmm. Hmm. Blessings. And thank you for watching today. Oh, and if you'd like a private light language lesson or let me try that again. If you're interested in having a private session with me to work on something in particular, I would love to be able to support you in that as well. So again, go to engagewithgloria.com and we can see about getting you a private light language session. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for the comments. Thank you, Joanne. My friend who has been watching on Facebook. I appreciate you and I appreciate all of the rest of you who are watching. And if you liked what you heard today, if you got some value out of this, I encourage you to share the podcast with a friend. And of course, make sure you're subscribed as well. Until next time, as always, I encourage you to go out today and every day and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.